know that you to do whatever you want in life. I'm here to help you to reach whenever you want and whatever you want and wherever you want. So today we're talking about especially about the whenever and whatever, because each one of us had this idea in mind that we may probably leave one day, maybe tomorrow, maybe a year from now, maybe 10 years from now. Some of us maybe wondering why we leave 10 years ago. We want to move forward, and I'm here to give you everything that you need to understand why and why you should really move if you really want to move, and how you should do it. It may be because we cannot actually fly right now. And I'm here to give you two wonderful stories about two families that actually done so. And of course, at the end, we're going to have a question answer session, Q&A session with me and Vasu about AI. So Vasu will tell us everything about AI at the end of this great live meeting. Before I start, I want you to give me an icon or any kind of a comment or reaction, whether you wanted to move or not. Did you ever had the ideas that you want to move, to leave our country? If yes, say yes. If no, say no. If you are still thinking about it, you can use any other icon that is approachable here. I would like to tell you how you want to really move to another country. I mean, what are the actions that you would like to have? Now, before you do it, as I see everyone here, and I know you, as far as I know, everyone here has a family, and the first thing that you want to do is check that each and every other member of your family, including your spouse, it's a husband or a wife, including your spouse, has the same idea as you have before you do it. Now, second thing that you want to do is to choose a place. Now, some of you may think that you may not be able to work, or you may not be able to even live in another place because there's no option available for that. Now, as far as I know, the second vaccine is another thing, except so people are coming from India as well. So as far as I know, and I know quite a lot, we can reach many countries. We can work there, we can live there, not everywhere. And about working and about our occupation, we need to check before that we have all the credentials, that we have all of the right approvals, and that our certificate from Israel, from India, from whenever we are and wherever we are coming from is available. Sometimes there are certificates that actually cannot be accepted at one place. Now you wait for a while, for a year, maybe 2 years, and then they change the rules. Countries change the rules about immigration all the time. So you may follow these rules all the time. And before I will dive into the steps that you need to make, I will dive into the English. Now, I speak slowly, and I'm trying to use a language that is approachable for everyone. When we are in a different country, people are not keen people are not available to be your English teacher. So you need to reach a situation or a level of skills that I call it to think in English, even to knock on the table and say some words that are not nice in English, like as a reaction. All right? Because there's a very different situation when you learn a language in another country, which you learn the second or third language, which is not your native language, in another country, than living in a foreign country where people speak fast, where people speak in like inside jokes or in comments that you don't know. Sometimes two different cities in the same country that you're at have very different inside jokes or inside dialect like. So you really want to learn about this habits, this social linguistic habits. And if we're talking about social, you need to also learn about the language. So Alon Stiklaro, be great in English from India, is also here. Now, let's go to the questions answer section, because each one of us has a very different situation and very different point of view of why we should live in the first place. So are there any questions to ask anything about a job, about how to find communities that we want to find, about places that we really want to go to or places that we really don't want to go to, how to find out about these places where we are not living in this area and in this country? I want to start with a great story. Let's start with the family that lived in Israel, somewhere in the northern of Israel. They lived a very good life, and the husband was very successful, is still very successful, but he actually needed to start all over again. He really needed to start all over again, since there are regulations and protocols in other countries that didn't enable, will not enable this person to work and to deal with the same occupation or the same, let's say, the same product. And I'm trying to think about my words here because I cannot actually say exactly what he did. So what he did is to start all over again. And he needed also to have a certificate so he can enter this country and work as an expert in their field. So let's say that this man, he has a young wife. So about this family, they are a family of two young parents with a very young child, very sweet child. We can say that in terms of financial aspects, they live the dream. I mean, let's say that they were very wealthy. They still are, but they actually needed to sell everything. So they saved and then they sold everything. After they sold everything, they prepared in advance to have all the credentials to start with their education in their country. And I'm talking about Canada. Canada is a great place for immigration, but they have very specific rules, which is also good and not good. So they started to learn some of their educational duties in Israel, and then they needed to continue their educational quest in Canada, because in Canada you actually get points for being a person who has certificates, who has a report card if you're younger, all right? And they see you as someone who is going to really donate the country. Pay attention if you go there, by the way, you need to see if this worthwhile because of the age. I know that Vaso's age is very good to move to Canada. I don't know about the rest of you. In order to do it, to sell everything and to live, you need to say goodbye, but not only say goodbye with words, you need to really say goodbye in order to move forward, to be another man. And this is the mental aspect of the change, where you change your life. Then you need to pass on or to give up about something that you did or wanted before. You need to really accept that you're going to leave, and no matter what, everything is going to be okay, because you have the most important people and things, which are the people, you and your health. And when some people leave, they're not always consider the money or the financial aspect, because if this person and this family took this aspect into mind, they would stay here in Israel. They are really happy. He is very successful over there in Canada. She is very successful as well. They started all over. Their kid is getting an excellent education in a very good school. They are very happy. They live in a great community, a mixed community, and they are grateful for every day. I don't say that they didn't have any hardships, and I don't say that they didn't have any situations where they were about to give up, but every time they became better, and in everything they did, and in this very difficult process, they expanded their abilities. And I think that if I'm going to take them and move them to, they will not do it because they really like Canada. But if I actually take them and move them to another location, they will know what to do because they have done so. So let's talk about the other family. Another family, two young parents. They are, I think that they already moved to the United States, or they are in the final days of the relocation process. They are about to move to a great place. They already bought the house. Everything is ready. If you look at this family, everything is fine. The husband is a very successful business owner. The wife is also a nurse. She likes her job. She likes her place. But something is not there. Now, when you are in a situation when you don't have any considerations, you say it's either to run away or to die in here, that's one thing. But when in a situation when you feel quite comfortable, but there's an itch, some sort of an itch in your stomach that makes you feel uncomfortable, then the sooner you will have the process, the better. You will have the process. You will have better results. You will cut the time with all your, let's say, bureaucracy issues, with all the paperwork and all the improvements, because you will not reach a situation when you are desperate. When you do it and you have your family, your support, and you have your job and the paycheck comes in every month, you can do it easily. But in this case, you really need to make up your mind. Now, for this family, as I remember, they had difficulties with accepting a job for their wife. They moved to the United States, or I think that they are really doing it these days, if I'm not mistaken. Like they enter the United States and they are settling down during these days, maybe a few months. So, as I remember, it wasn't easy to find a job as a nurse because she needed to pass on a test. Now, in every country, there's some sort of a test. In every country, there's a test where you're supposed to perform and pass on some sort of an exam to be accepted for your occupation. If you don't pass the exam, it's a problem. So you really should pay a lot of attention and practice as long as you can for this exam. These exams what I can say about them is you don't need to be an excellent English teacher in order to pass them. You need to know these tests. You really need to know these tests, and you need to be ready just to make them. They have a very unique formation and rules and time setting. So you need to know how to make these tests. Some of them will challenge your logic. Some of them will challenge your speed, your reading speed, and maybe your listening. Some of them will challenge your self-esteem if you have a very complicated issues with standing and speaking in front of a crowd. So this is something that I also can help you with. I'm actually the guy here in Israel to help people, not only in Israel, but I'm the guy here in Israel to help people to stand and speak a language which is not their native language. I'm here for you, and these days I give you my time, my free time, free for all that you need. You need to ask me a question, I'm here. If you need to have any consultation, then I'm here. Before I leave, if you have any questions, that's the time. If not, Vasu will come in and give his talk about the AI assistant. We cannot live without AI tools, and AI tools can make our lives great before we leave the country and after we leave the country and we're already there beyond the borders of our country. So what I can tell you is that Vasu is the expert for that, and Vasu, stage is yours. Because of the electric breaks, Vasu is not with us. He's with us, but he's not with us. So we're going to do it another day, the AI explanation with all the tips how to live a better, easier life in another place, and even before we reach the destination that we wanted to reach. So now I see that you cannot join. Okay. So unfortunately, Vasu's entire area has a terrible electric break for 2 days. We're going to do it another time. We're going to do it another day. All right. Meanwhile, if you have anything to ask, if you need any consultation, if you have these questions that you always wanted to ask and you thought, oh, maybe it's not the right time, or maybe I will not be a good person if I will leave my country, if leaving the country is actually a problem in terms of your personal values, I can give you a great consultation for all of these worries and questions. Please stay safe, okay? Don't go and look for missiles. If there are missiles, then run away from them. Go to the safe place, to your home, to your environment. If you have any to start your journey and to move along to another country and you want a program, any kind of program that you think that will do good for you. So I will be doing it again during these days, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. I'm assuming that I do it the day after tomorrow, so we have time to prepare and come to this meeting. And meanwhile, you'll probably see me on Facebook and on YouTube with this recording. Next time we're going to do it either on Facebook or on YouTube. See you and stay safe. Bye-bye.